Hi, welcome to my blog. My name is Tom Shue, and today we're going to do a Lightroom beauty retouching tutorial. It's going to be kind of a long one. Retouching in Lightroom, especially with beauty and skin retouching, takes a lot of time. Okay, so I warn you now, if you're working with Lightroom and you want to do skin retouching, it's going to take you some time because the tools are just a little bit slower to work with in Photoshop because you don't have things like the healing brush and you can't just throw a blur layer on and mask it out. Okay, so let's get started. If you look at this image, we'll go here. This is an image of a lovely model we took at a workshop the last couple days, and you see that our white balance is a little bit on the cool side. We shot her on uh, a white background, so we could just select that background as our white point for our white balance correction, and you can see that she's a little bit warm now. So what we can do is we can cool her off by dragging the slider to the left just a hair. Now remember, white balance is subjective, a lot like exposure is. Okay, so she's getting a little cooler now. Okay, maybe a little bit too cool. Let's move it back to the right a hair. I don't want her to look yellow. I'm just looking at the eyes itself. Do the white of the eyes look right? Okay, so let's cool it just a little bit more. Okay, and now I'm maybe add a little bit of magenta. Let's give her some more color. If you go too far, you can see that it'll quickly destroy the image. Okay, so I say somewhere around there. And again, it's subjective. Okay, maybe that's a little bit too much. I want to back this off of here. Okay, give it a second to refresh. Lightroom's kind of slow. Lightroom 4 is not like Lightroom 3. A lot more things going on here. Okay, so now we have our white balance set within what I say to be right. If we hit a before and after with the backslash key, you can see it, but we don't do that yet. So if we go to my presets, I've built some presets that lets me get started when doing portraits. And this particular one is for color portraits, and it's just a general skin softener. So I'll tell you what that is. So we'll go ahead and pull this up, and it creates a skin softening, and it also neutralizes the colors in the shadow. A lot of times when you have shadows from making lighting patterns, those colors in the shadows become saturated and you get these weird tints. So you can see that I've kicked the vibrance down and I've knocked the clarity down, which will soften the skin. And then over here in the highlights and shadows, what this was designed to do was to knock down any hot spots from when you take images with flash. Also, we have some noise correction. So if we go down to the detail, you'll see that there's a little bit of noise reduction, and sharpening is standard. Okay, so we can look at the before and after here in just a few minutes so you can see what that preset actually did before we go into the brushes. The next thing we want to do is we want to go in and start taking out skin imperfections. Right here is a spot removal tool. The shortcut is Q on your keyboard. Now I did do some already because there was a lot to be done, and this takes a long time. So if we hit this, you'll see that these are the spots that I grabbed. But basically you just grab a spot and it will heal it. And I'll show you a trick when working with the spot healing tool, or the spot removal tool, is you can use the mouse wheel and scroll in and out. But say for example you want to add a correction to a point that's, say there's three imperfections really close together, okay, and it just won't let you select it. Say right here when I'm trying to hover, that's giving me the arrow. Say if there was a point right there that I wanted to add, just go ahead and click off of that arrow, okay, and when it makes its selection, you just go in and grab that point and drag it over top where you wanted it to be, and now it doesn't have any choice but to let you put it there or select it there. Okay, So just, if you're trying to add them, like I had a group of 3 up here. Let's see here. I had a group of 3 right here that I needed to add. You see that they're overlapping. I had to make a selection outside and just drag it. So we won't spend too much time on this spot removal tool. We'll go right into the brushes. I'll grab this over here, this little white area. We'll get rid of that one, and we'll get rid of, say, this one over here. And I'll get rid of one more over here. Okay, brush a little bit bigger. That's not really fair when you zoom in close on somebody's face because everybody's got imperfections, okay? So what we'll do is we'll go right into our brush presets and clean in this image up. So we'll close the spot removal tool and we'll go right to the brush adjustments. In the brush adjustments, you can see that I have some of these brushes set up. And the first one we'll use is the skin soften brush, okay? These are brush presets that I created myself, and if you guys want them, just let me know. I'll give them to you. So this one's designed to be applied over the whole face, the whole skin, and then you'll erase what you don't do. So if we hold the space bar and you click, it will zoom the image to fit. So make this brush big and we'll just paint over the whole face. You hit the O key, that will give you your overlay. I'll just turn it off for now, and we'll use that overlay to get rid of it on the hair. You know, we'll try to be as selective as we can, but we definitely don't want to do skin softening on, say, these earrings down here, or her lips, or her eyes, or her hair, or her eyebrows. So we'll just be careful. But instead of just spending too much time, just go over the whole thing with the TSP skin softener. That's Thomas Shoe Photography skin softener brush. So we're going to hit the O key. And that's going to show us our overlay. And now we miss a spot here. And we don't want any on the ear. That's fine. So we're going to zoom back in, hold down the space bar, and click. And now we're going to hold down the Alt key. And we're going to erase that softening brush that's been applied to the eye. Okay, that's pretty simple. We'll get this other eye over here. Again, it's holding down the Alt key on Windows, and that's Option key on a Mac. We'll hold down the space bar, give us the hand tool, move the face up. We'll remove it off the lips, because we don't want to soften the lips. And this, you know, like I said, it's a little faster to work inside Photoshop, but Lightroom can get the job done for sure. If I was doing work for like a magazine, like high fashion magazine, I would jump into Photoshop because there's a lot more flexible tools with exacting control. But for standard jobs, portraitures for family portraits, stuff like that, this is just fine. Stuff for web, stuff for Facebook, you know, just about anything. You can get away with it in Lightroom. However, if I'm doing a big ad for a huge magazine, I'm going to go ahead and use those tools inside Photoshop. But this tutorial is targeted for people that, say, may not have Photoshop. Maybe they just used Lightroom. Okay? So I'm going to hold the Alt key and make sure I got off all of these eyelashes here. Okay? And let's pull it off of the hair. And just to get around the screen, you just hold down the space bar. You zoom our brush up. Pull it off this hair here. Nothing looks worse than softened hair. So pull that off there as well. We'll come down here and look at these earrings. They look pretty good. Except right down and through here. We'll get rid of that. Ooh. Release the Alt key there. Started to paint it on there again. Hold down the spacebar key, we'll move over to the other side. We'll move it off by holding the Alt key, and that's Option key on a Mac. Pull it off for the strap of her dress. Maybe pull it off the hair underneath her chin. This Lightroom 4, the brush tools, they definitely hog a lot of memory. I've got 12 gigs of memory here, and you can see that it is really putting a workout on this computer. Okay, so we're going to hold down the Alt key here. Pull it off this hair on this side. And I can zoom back out. Let's hold this space bar. And I'll just rough it in. So Alt key. Let's just take it off. All the hair. Okay, this is just a tutorial to give you an idea of how you can work with Lightroom to do your beauty and skin retouching. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So we're going to hit the O key again. Let's zoom back in so you can see the skin. I'll show you the before and after, just so you can have an idea of what we've accomplished so far. So if you hold down hit the backspace key, you can see that there's been a pretty dramatic improvement of the skin. So now we're going to use another brush that I use. Always want to click new when you select a new brush, or it's going to update what you've done with the previous brush. We're going to use what I call a fine line softener. And what we'll do is we'll come in here under the eyes and we'll brush away some of those hard lines that she may have. Maybe some of this dark area underneath the eye, above the eye. We'll get rid of some of those. We'll get rid of some of these lines over here. We don't want to take all the lines away, but any of the ones we do, it can help her look a lot softer. Let her look like she has a lot softer skin when you use this fine line. So we'll come around the mouth, we'll look around there and see if there's any lines that we can fix. Just soften up, knock the edge off, maybe around the mouth a little right here. Okay. Come over here and hit this side. Okay. I noticed down on her neck that she had a mark down here. Let's work with that. We'll soften this up a little bit. Okay. When you print this out, that will help with any kind of blemishes you see. This little brush helps a lot. The fine line softener, you can use it for small little blemishes as well too. It works a little faster than that spot removal. So we'll hit her forehead a little bit. This is great for people that got deep crevices in their forehead. Let's take this out. She has like a little scar right there. And she's got some little bitty roughness in her skin pores here. Okay, that just helps some of that stuff. Let's hit this a little bit on the eyes. Okay, so now let's go ahead and hit a little bit on this nose. And let's look at the before and after now. Before and after. Okay, and if it's too much, just go in and hold down the Alt key and drag it off. It's pretty simple. And you can adjust the opacity by the flow rate. So say if we grab this flow, let's leave it up on the full. But with the eraser tool, if we bring the flow down, we won't take it all off at once. We can just do it slowly and reveal those lines again. Say if we lost too much texture, say in her forehead here. Okay, it might look a little too plasticky. So I like to knock it on, actually apply the brush on, and come back with a lower flow rate and just kind of go over it and reveal some of that texture back in the skin. Because there's nothing worse than that plasticky baby doll looking skin. So let's bring some of it back. Okay, doesn't look too bad there. Maybe over here underneath this eye. Maybe it looks a little too pushed and mushy. So we'll just add a little bit back. So that helps with the texture. So the texture is back in our skin. And this, the before and the after. Okay, so now let's deal with these eyes. Okay, so we're going to hit new, and we're going to select a new brush. And this brush will be the eye brightener. Okay, you can see her eyes are a little bit dark. And you can use this navigation window over here on the left, the small window, to see if you've made the eyes too bright, because they'll start to look like an alien. So we'll just go ahead and go over the whole eye here with this brush. Okay, try not to stay off the lashes. I should say try to stay off the lashes. And we'll use the mask tool to pull it off, because we don't want to lighten this inner skin inside the eye. So we hit the O key, that'll give us our overlay. We'll hold down the Alt key, and we'll just come in here and erase. Let's turn our flow back up on our erase side. Let's get rid of it there. Let's take this adjustment off of the eye here. Remove it off of the eyelashes. And at the base of the eyelid, let's take it off there. Okay, that looks pretty good. Looks like I need too much off. Let's grab it again. And then the Alt to take it off and make a smooth line. And then off the lower lid. Okay, hit the O key. Now we can see what's going on. If you look up here in this navigation window, watch what happens if I brighten it. Her eyes will start to look like an alien. You see that? Look like something out of X-Men. So we're going to hit Control Z to undo. And Control is Command on a Mac. Okay. So I think I might just bring that down just a little bit. Let's make it 0.15. 0.15. Alright. That looks like about the right brightness for me. So let's click New. And I made a brush also for an iris builder. And what this will do is it'll let you deal with this color inside the eye. So I like to paint it just on the color and leave this outside lip alone where it's a black line. So we'll go ahead and paint. And you can see that it pushed that texture through the cache light. Okay, let's grab this side. If we click O, we can see our overlay and see where we are. We can add a little bit more there. And I like to not have it around the edge of the eye where that black line is. So I can hold down the Alt key and I can just remove it off pretty evenly around the eye. Okay, and I take it across the top and I remove it there too. That's that transition where the eyelid is. It's always going to be a little shadow there. It's going to be darker. It'll look more natural if you don't try to enhance it there. Okay, so we hit the O key again, get rid of the overlay. And now since it was a builder, we need to finish it up with our own adjustments selectively. It's just to start to build up that color. So let's grab our clarity and slide it up just a hair. Okay. And you can adjust the saturation to taste. You can take it away or add it. Okay, so right about there. You can also grab the contrast. And that'll darken the eye. So let's look at a before and after there. Let's close down our brushes for a second. So there's an after, there's a before, and an after. Okay, so we've adjusted the eyes, we've softened the skin. Let's go back into our brushes. And I would like to do a lip. I have a lip gloss that I've built. It's a lip gloss brush. Hold down the hand tool, slide it up to the lips, and we'll apply my lip gloss. Okay, so we'll just apply this lip gloss, and you'll see the shine it starts to make. So I go straight through the center of the lips, make it soft. And I'll come around this edge to the bottom. Okay, and I go around the top edge. You see it starts to look like a pretty good shine there. Straight through the middle. I try not to do too much in this fleshy area, maybe just a hair through this side. But it looks like a lip gloss, and I'll show you a before and after on that. There's before and the after. Let's close down that brush. So let's zoom out. And I want to enhance her hair some. You can see she has some brown tips in her hair, and I want to pop some detail on the hair if I can, so I've made a brush for doing hair as well. I call it my hair builder. So we'll just grab this and put it on the tips of the hair. It kind of makes it pop some, and if it's too much, we'll just take it off. Okay. We can add it here. Her hair's pretty dark, but it does make the hair stand out. We'll slide this down here on this hairs. We'll grab those hairs. Okay, so let's close down the brushes and do a before and after. There's a before and after. So you can see that's dramatic on the hair as well. So the eyes are dramatic. Her skin is soft. Her lips are glossy. It's a big deal, and it's all done in Lightroom. With my brush presets and a starting preset, there's one last brush I want to show you. And this is what I call the whitewash brush. Say if your background's not bright enough, this brush will make it bright enough. Okay, so my whitewash brush is here. Make it real big, and if you just grab, you'll see that it just knocks it out white. So when you print it, everything will be white if that's what you want it to be. Okay, now you're gonna have to go in and mask it out of the hair, and that's kind of a pain in the butt, and that's where Photoshop definitely kicks butt, right? Because in that hair is just a nightmare. So I'm going to delete that brush, so we'll just leave this alone the way it is. We'll close down the brushes, and I want to thank you all for visiting my blog today. I'm sorry this tutorial took so long to do. However, I think I've shown that if you spend some time in Lightroom and learn the tools, learn how to create some tools, you can speed up your workflow considerably. And here we are retouching in Lightroom. I want to thank you all again for visiting. My name's Tom Shue, and until next time, we'll see you soon.